everyone, to the Lake Lewis Jr. Show. Appreciate you joining us as always. And it's Friday, Fan Day. You know what time it is. We bring in some of the best supporters for the Burgundy and Gold, and they're from all over the world. We've got a great collective cast joining us today. And it also means it's hypothetical fan day, where I'm going to ask them a tough question. It's a brain buster, something to stump them. Before we get into that, a lot of people have asked, how can they come on the show? Well, all you have to do is email me. You can email the show. You can email me at lakelewisjr@gmail.com. That's my real email. Or you can email the show at the Lake Lewis Jr. Show@gmail.com. And we will get back to you and get you on here. We do all the time. I had like 3 people reach out this week who wanted to come on. So we'll see if they pop up today on the show. I've got some good ones for you guys today. And, it's getting hard for me. It's really something I have to seriously sit down and think about and say to myself, how am I going to stump them today? Well, today I got a good one for you. So I'm going to give you the first brain buster. This is an easy one. Okay. So the first one is, if Washington is playing for the NFC Championship this year, okay, and they have a chance to go on the road, guaranteed it's a win. Okay. So that they're going to win. My question is, who would you want them to beat on the road? The Eagles or the Cowboys? Okay. All right. So that's the first one. A lot of you may say, oh, that's easy. It's the Cowboys. Yeah, you'll get my answer in a second. Okay. I'm not going to give you the second brain buster just yet. But we're going to get into our topic matter. And of course, this is a commander centric show. So we talk about the Commanders. If you don't like the Commanders, probably not the place for you, because there's a lot of positivity here for the Commanders. But with that said, we welcome everyone. And we've had Eagles fans on. Yes, we have. We've had a Bears fan on. We had a Cowboys fan on. So if you do want to come on the show, all these folks in this board are great people. So they're not going to run you out of town unless you come on here talking crazy. Okay. So Commanders topic number one. It has to be Terry McLaurin. We talked about this last week. We talked about it the week before, and it's getting closer to camp. I actually reported this week that it may take 36 million to get it done. And I've seen surprisingly a lot of fans that are saying that I'm crazy for even thinking he's worth that kind of money. And I'm trying to get them to understand, just because if he were to get 36 million, it would make him the second highest paid receiver in the league. I'm not saying Terry's the second best receiver in the league. I'm not saying he's worse than 5, but the market determines what's going on right now. So the question I have is, would any of you be upset if Terry were to get that kind of money to keep him in Washington? So we'll start on what I see on my screen. I see Reverend Fry. What's going on, Rev?
Good afternoon, sir.
Appreciate you joining. Yep, from
Always love
California.
it. Love
All
it.
right.
Love it.
So what's your thoughts on Terry?
The more I hear, the more perplexing it's getting.
Hmm.
Because I've always liked Terry. You
Hmm.
know, um, I believe he's worth the money. However, I still believe at this moment, and I believe that a part of that holdup is that Adam still has something up his sleeve, you know.
Okay.
Um, and so I believe that's the drawback. I'm still on that level because of the fact that he's produced with all these quarterbacks that he's had. He's never let us down. But
Hmm.
so there's an ambivalence that I have there. I say pay him, but at the same time, we still got to look at, for me, what's best for the team as a whole.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair. All right. We've had my good friend
Mhm.
Willis from Arizona joining us. What's going, Willis?
Hey, how you doing? All right, so here's my take. Same thing as 2 weeks ago. I literally am not concerned about us not signing Terry, so that's not even in my mind.
Hmm.
But I do think I totally agree with Rev, because I think that Adam is waiting to do whatever he needs to do. I mean, if he wants to re-sign a couple people that are on the team that just came in that really kind of want another contract,
Hmm.
he needs to be able to figure out that. Plus, if there is another sneaky pickup from another team, he's still playing with the cap and the amount of cash flow that he has, So I'm not worried about that. And ultimately, I have no doubts that this team is so competent that they will be able to make a contract that is going to work for both Terry and for the team. And of course, I mean, the big picture is how are we going to keep a core nucleus and be able to re-sign Jaden when the time comes, So, I mean, I think all of that is in play right now. And that's probably what is holding up any kind of contract negotiations, because they're just trying to make sure they got all their bases covered right now. But in the long run, not worried in the least.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Miss Sheila, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, hanging in there. Good to see you.
Me too. I think we're gonna keep Terry, but the gossip out there about Ayuk again, and I was like, hey, where y'all come up with that? So, so they putting that out there again, and trying to make it like, well, that's Jaden's friend,
Let me shoot
and
that
so,
down before it even starts.
I
know.
Not happening.
I
Listen,
think so.
Brandon Ayuk's coming off a knee injury. You do not trade. I don't care if it's Jaden's brother. You do not trade for a receiver coming off a knee injury
That's
for a
what I
receiver
said.
that's done 6 years of production and had his best year last year
I
with
know.
your new toy. So come on. No.
They had
that's-
that chance last year anyway. So
Yeah,
anyway,
Yeah.
exactly.
I just think he's still trying to hold on to a little money right now. I'm sure Terry is comfortable and knows all of this. The rest of it I feel is just gossip. So I think
stuff.
I think he's worth it. I think
Okay.
he's worth it. He earned it. Yeah.
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 I listen, I naturally, you guys know, I'll give you my take after you guys, give me yours. But yeah, I see some of the stuff floating out there too. And I hope and pray. I always say, I hope people know who's the sensible media people and stuff that's clickbait. And a lot of
Yeah,
that's
I know.
clickbait.
I know.
So yeah, we don't do that on here. So, all right. So let's go on. I've got my friend Dave joining us again. Dave Fernandez. What's going on, man?
What's going on, Lake? um, as far as Terry, I'm with you. I think he's deserving of that 36. I say between 32 and 36.
Mhm.
The reason why I say that is because I'm a firm believer of show me your production and earn your pay.
Yeah.
I hate when there's guys out there, and I've seen them many times in basketball, baseball, football. A guy has one good year, and they start throwing money at him. He hasn't even proved himself. Terry is, on the other hand, has proved himself without the money
Right.
and without the quarterback. A lot of these top
Bad on.
receivers, from 1 to 5 or something, they've all had real good quarterbacks. Terry never had a real good quarterback till last year, and look what he did. So,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
always been productive. He's never trimmed down on his production. So
Yeah.
I think because of his production, I think he's deserving of that 32, 36 million. I know Adam probably, like everybody says, he's something, boiling up or something, which is good. So I guess we should, maybe he's trying to find, the intangibles of like maybe an extra year or guaranteed money and everything. But yeah, definitely, I'm with you. I'm with you, Lake. I think he's deserving of it.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. And then we have from Turkey. Is it late there or is it early morning over there, Oscar?
7 hours difference. So it's
Man, but I appreciate it
12:20
though.
here.
See,
No
see,
problem.
aren't you glad we do this on Fridays and not Mondays?
That's amazing for me. It's great to see you guys again.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
So I almost agree with everyone. It was so unfortunate that Terry McLaurin spent his first half of his career without any good QBs. Last year, I thought he was at his prime, scoring 13 or 14 touchdowns.
13.
13 with Jaden Daniels, and I think he deserves a lot of money. It's really hard for me to state how much, like to tell an amount, but I don't think Adam Peters is, trying to get rid of him at any point, because he has been the face of the franchise, the voice of the franchise for so long. So I'm pretty sure Adam Peters is evaluating everything, and at the end, he's probably gonna find a way to keep him and pay him at the end.
Good stuff. All right. Everybody's saying some sensible things here. That's why I love this group. All right. And then we got Commander Kel. What's going on, Kel?
I'm doing all right. Again, sorry for the background noise. I know you could probably hear a lot of wind.
It's all good, man.
I'm happy to be here. This community is, as always, is growing. So yes, I think Terry, firstly, and Adam, we trust for sure. He hasn't let us down, and I do believe that he does have some up his sleeve. I think about the cornerback from the Green Bay Packers who randomly got released as something that as an example of what Adam may be holding out for. Like this is a prime time for those type of trades to happen. But I think Terry will be at least in the mid 30s as far as his compensation. 35, 36. I think it would be in line with JD's five's first contract extension eligibility, a 3 to 4 year deal. I think to reach that mid 30s money for the contract, it would have to be heavily incentive based,
Yeah.
also with a fat bonus. I think Rick Snyder did bring up a great point when he mentioned Kirk Cousins as an example of not being the best player in his position, but had the business leverage. I think that Terry McLaurin has a great great leverage in his position, being though he went through all these different regimes and poor quarterbacks and still produce. And so he's a fan favorite. He has leverage with the fans. Moreover, he exponentially increases production when he actually got a competent QB. So that's a predictor of the future. And that's what NFL franchises base their money off, not what you've done, but as a predictor of the future. And he's done that. So it's clear. It's clear to me. Pay that man. He's going to produce for at least 3 to 4 years, even if he's 34, 35 years old.
All right, good stuff, man. Very well said too. So, we've got Ellison on with us. What's going on, Ellison?
What's good, man? Good to see you again. Good to see everybody.
Appreciate it.
I have no worries about this right now. I think this is ultimately going to get done. This is the dead period of the season where people are out of town on vacation and taking care of some family stuff and personal stuff before they come back and get ready for the season. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be in the mid 30s as well. I think the deal gets done. I think if anything holds it up, it will be the guarantees or something like that. But I think the deal gets done and he'll be in a commander's uniform for the next years to come. I will pay him just based off restitution off the abuse that he does stuff for the past personally. I don't see him going anywhere. I see him in the commander's uniform, and I look forward to the season.
Exactly. I mean, that's well said. I'll have to borrow some of these lines. These are good. All right. And then we've got a first timer on here, man. We've Brown joining us. What's going on?
Uh-oh.
You reach
What's
out,
going on,
man.
everybody? What's going on, Lee?
Welcome to
Thank
the
you for
family.
having me on.
No worries. No
Always,
worries.
yeah, I always catch the recordings every weekend. So I said, let me hit my man Lake up, see if I could get on, chop it up with some good people. So I'm happy to be here.
Where are you
I
located?
appreciate you.
So I live in Severn now, but born and raised Southeast DC, Capitol Hill.
Okay.
You know, I
Okay.
bleed
Okay.
it. So
That's what's up.
we here.
There we go. So what you think of Terry? Do you think that is that number too high that I put out the 36? Because I'll give you my take afterwards.
I mean, it's the market, man. You know, we gonna look at it right now. We gonna say, oh, that's crazy. They overpaid. But, you know, by the time everybody else starts signing deals and stuff like that, he won't drop back down to 6th or 7th paid by then.
Exactly.
You know, I think the worst thing we can do is wait too late.
That's
and then
true.
we end up in a Kirk Cousins situation. And nobody want that.
Exactly. That's a great point. I've been saying for the longest time that the deal will get done. And I think that there will be a compromise on both parties, because the other thing you have to look at, if you know anything about Terry, I can say being in that locker room with that dude, he's extremely intelligent. This is a business move that's being done right now. But the one thing about Terry, he knows where's he going to go where he's going to have better than that gunslinging number 5,
I tell you.
who's to, maybe Kansas City or someone. I get it. You know, you'd have to go. You can't go to Cincinnati because they already heavily
Cap bill.
paying their receivers. Where else you gonna go? I mean, Kansas City's the spot. You can go to Buffalo. Do you really want to play in Buffalo? Do you want to play in that cold weather? Whole nother story you have to ask yourself. So
Right.
I just think that he understands he's the face of the franchise. And I keep saying that. I know Jaden naturally as the quarterback is being groomed to be that if he's not that
Right.
already.
Right.
But I think from a fan standpoint, Terry's the guy that you've kind of watched grow up here. You know, he's the only thing that you've seen that's been consistent from day one.
Yeah.
So Adam Peters is smart enough. That's my guy, man. He's smart enough to know that if you get rid of Terry, all that goodwill might be thrown out the window. You know, what they say, throw it out with the bathwater. That's exactly what's going to happen to a lot of the fans because a lot of the fans feel like, as Ellison said, you should be paying Terry just because of what he's gone through and the fact that he had, bag of chips and Twizzlers throwing him the football. Now, he had a competent quarterback last year, and what did he do? He had his best season, 13 touchdowns, and looked like he was getting better as the season progressed. So all this is going to get done. I remind people this happened last year. This was eerily similar to Sam Cosmi. And we were sitting in the media room, first day of training camp. There's an announcement that need to be made. And here comes Adam Peters. Here comes Dan Quinn. Here comes Sam Cosmi. Signed his contract. That's exactly what's going on here. And I keep trying to tell fans, don't worry, because Adam Peters is doing what he's supposed to do. He's doing all his due diligence to see what parts can he still add to this team to make them even better. Terry will get taken care of. So wanted to throw that out there. So I do have a second hypothetical for you, but I want to get your answers to the first hypothetical, which was if you are the Washington Commanders and you're guaranteed that you're going to win the NFC Championship this year and get to the Super Bowl, but you have to do it on the road, where would you rather win that game? In Dallas or against the Philadelphia Eagles? So we'll go the opposite order this time going back. So we're going to start with Dwayne on this one. Which team would you want to see them pluck and knock off on their home field if it was the NFC Championship?
Man, listen, it's easy for me.
Here we
Philly.
go. All right, you said Philly?
Yeah, it's Philly. And this
First
why.
timer got it. He got it.
Listen, after putting 55 on our head top last year, I need that get back.
Right.
I need that get back. Every time on X, every comment under every picture, they got our notifications on. They like 55-23. That's all I see everywhere. I need that. And I need Florida JD.
Right.
That. That's what I need. So
I like
need
that.
in the late.
I like that. I see, that's a sensible answer because I know, longtime rival was the Cowboys, but I've always said that rivalry is not the rivalry now. It's the Eagles and Washington. That's the rivalry the league is getting ready to start really pushing. Trust me on that. But I said that Washington and Dallas would be a rivalry again if they played for something. So I mean, if they're playing for the NFC Championship, that is playing for something. But I agree with Dwayne. I was at that stadium, for that game. I'm not all the game. Just some of the fans up there were acting. I mean, it was like they forget that we used to run things, man. So it's getting ready to come back to that. So Ellison, you're up. What do you think?
The answer for me is Philly, for sure. But I gotta be honest, man. I could care less who we play. I just want to go. I just want to win.
That's fair. That's fair.
If it's a high school team, if it's Oklahoma, I don't care who it is. I just want to go. Period. But the answer, if I got to pick between the two, it is Philly.
All right. Okay. All right. Good stuff. And then we got Kel back up now. Let's go, Kelvin. What you think, man?
Me off top Philly. The Cowboys, they not them boys anymore. They got the highest paid quarterback and they ain't doing nothing, so they're embarrassing themselves. They don't need us to do that for them. Definitely, Philly is on our radar. They the Super Bowl defending champs, and it's our time to not only take their spot, but be a repeat NFC Championship, break that cycle. So we got to win this year and we got to win next year. But to my guy Ellison's point, I just want to go to the ultimate bowl, no matter who in front of us. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Oscar over in Turkey, Istanbul right now. So what you think, Oscar?
I think I'm an old school romantic. I'll go with Cowboys.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Wow.
I
Well,
I get the point that the Eagles Commanders rivalry is growing, and I love that a lot. But I believe the reason the Redskins Cowboys rivalry kind of faded away wasn't the name change, but it was the 20 something years that Daniel Snyder took away from us.
Yeah,
yeah.
ownership.
Yeah.
So I would still want to beat the Cowboys.
Okay. I mean, there's no wrong answers on this show. You guys know that. Now, I mean, if you had said the Giants, and yeah, you might be muted right now, Oscar. But so yeah,
I know.
no, that's fair. I mean, so we got our first Cowboy folk on there. So now let's go to Dave. Dave Fernandez, and see what he thinks. So, Dave, what do you think? You're on mute there, Dave. Okay, he's on mute, so I think I can
Yeah, I'm
unmute you.
sorry. I said I got
There you
my
go.
grandson on the background.
Okay, no worries, no
My
worries.
grandson's in the ground, even sometimes making some noise. So,
It's all good.
um,
It's all good.
Turn him into a Washington fan.
for me, for me, I mean the common thing will be Dallas, right? But I got to go with Ellison and my man Dwayne, and I'm sure you that we got to go back and spank Philadelphia, man. These guys are way out of their head. They talking way too much. They pumping their chest and everything, rightfully so, because they do have a good
They
team.
and they
But
had
it's
the
like
Super
you
Bowl.
say, they remind me of your kids. They're little. You're teaching them, right? And when they get out of line, you spank them or something like that. Then when they grow to a teenager, now all of a sudden they think they know everything. You know what I'm saying? And that Eagles have forgotten that, man. We gotta come out and show them that we still a daddy,
So
man.
what's funny? I hear you guys, and some of y'all showing your age, because I know I got most of y'all. But when I
But
was in
don't have
college, I was at Penn State, and when Washington went to the last Super Bowl,
Yes, sir.
mentioned Penn State, Pennsylvania. It was a lot of Philly, and all my boys, some of my teammates up there, they were all from Philly. And let me tell you, I just had to remind them, do y'all have a Super Bowl? Now, this is back then. Do y'all even have a Super Bowl? Like, you went to one, and the Raiders just destroyed you. So I had to remind them of that. Well, over the last 6 years, the Eagles have been one of the best teams. I think in the last 7 years, what is it, 3 Super Bowls?
Three.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yep.
So they have every reason to, as you said, Dave, they have every reason to stick their chest out. But I know for a fact there's a little bit of worry right there, because if you were an Eagles fan last year, before Jaden came around, you were thinking, we got this division for the next 10 years. Well, now they know that the Burgundy and Gold is coming. And I think that's why, for me, that's the rivalry. And as you said, the payback, man, that aspect is big. Like, I think it would be poetic justice to go back up there and get a win. So let's go on to our other 3 folks on there. And I'm having some phone issues. Okay, you guys still see me okay, right?
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's go with Miss
Hey, they
Sheila.
hear our footsteps.
Yeah.
They're hearing our footsteps.
What you think, Miss Sheila? What would you do?
You know who I really want to say. 'Cause
I already know. The nostalgia. I know it. You just can't help it. But come on.
I can't, only because I got so many friends that are Dallas fans. Oh my gosh, they get on my nerves. But I want Marshawn to get his reps, get that receiver. I want
AJ
him
Brown.
to be able to shine.
AJ Brown.
Yes. Yes. I mean, because I think I've looked at them games so many times, because that's all come on is the playoff games over and over again. And I just watch all those throwing him. I mean,
The pass interferences and all that. Yeah.
Even when we played him, when they came to us, I mean,
Yeah.
it was pass interference for everything, even if he touched him. And he had his shirt pulling it down, you
Yeah,
know, and they didn't
yeah,
see that,
yeah.
you know. So we want revenge on that. I know
Yeah.
I do. And then Philly fans are rude. They are the rudest team I ever met. They rooted in Dallas. I can deal with Dallas because they're fun, but Philly rude and they're nasty. And I've been in that stadium, so
Yeah.
I know how they are. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yes, let's show them where they need to go. And Jalen, I mean, he's okay, but he ain't JD5. Okay. So if he didn't have that running back last year, it would have been a different story. So
Yeah.
that's my take on that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, and again, that's the other reason why I think this rivalry is going to be there for a while, because you have two young quarterbacks that, say what you want about Jalen Hurts as far as what he can't do as a quarterback. I just keep
Yeah,
thinking about what he does right, and that's winning. So I'd
that's true.
rather have a quarterback that wins than a quarterback that gives me stats and loses. So, let's go on to Willis here. What you think, Willis?
Man, this is a tough one for me. Let me tell you, because my background here is that I lived across the street from a Dallas Cowboy fan during the 90s, and I would watch football over at his house all the time. And that was just, when you have been abused as a kid, it just never leaves you. Like I got that. I mean, I drove across the country, stood in front of Irving Stadium, and burned a Dallas Cowboy pennant just because of him. Like I'm out here in Arizona, and everybody's got freaking Dallas Cowboy stuff on. I mean, now there's some bandwagoners wearing their Eagles stuff, but you just see Dallas, and they're just so ignorant. They just think they're the greatest every single year. That said, like you, I also went to school. I spent a couple of years in college right outside of Philadelphia. So everybody I knew, and this was during the Randall Cunningham era. So I had some real bad experiences there, and to this day, I'm still like, I can't let down some of the things that happened when I was up there. And everyone was either an Eagles fan or a Giants fan. And there was only myself and two other Washington fans. And during that time frame, I drove down to DC to watch a game at FedEx Field. It was the year that Dallas was 0-13 at the time. And I drove all the way down from Philly, watched them lose to this completely defeated team in the rain. And then I had to drive back to Philly, and all my friends like, I'm like, oh, geez, that was embarrassing as heck. Thought for sure that was like a guaranteed win. No. But what Sheila said is exactly right. The Philadelphia fans are the rudest fans anywhere. And it doesn't matter who's on their team. They are 100% guaranteed before the season even starts that they're going to win the Super Bowl. It's been that way for 25, 30 years. They always think that they are the best team before the first snap is even taken. So now in the last 6 years, like you said, like they have been good, and they were good in the early 2000s as well. And I've gotten to the point now where I think my Philadelphia hatred has finally overtaken my Dallas hatred. And we need the street cred as well. I think, if we beat Philadelphia, if we beat Dallas, everyone's like, wow, they weren't that good of a team anyway this year, But if we beat Philadelphia, that's the team that everyone's going to stand up and pay attention and say, wow, okay, this team is for real.
And of course, Eagles fans going to have excuses.
Yeah, well, they'll find it. Yeah.
Well, no. I literally think, like I said, when I was at the game, and I know, Reverend, we have you up next. Good stuff too, by the way, Willis and Sheila. So, being there, I told you guys I kind of slipped out, went into a suite of a friend of mine that season ticket holder for the Eagles, ironically, and he invited me up to meet some of his colleagues, whatever, and Janine, that was the first game she had ever come to me with me on the road. And we go in this suite, and there was about 30 Eagles guys with their families, and there was all green. And I'm like, being from DC, I kind of tensed up just a little bit. Like, is this real? Like, did he ask me to come in here for this? Like,
yes.
Literally, I can honestly tell you guys, we had the best time under the circumstances. My boy Deshaun called. We had Deshaun come up into the suite. Deshaun Jackson came into the suite too. And it was cool. But a lot of these older guys, they were literally saying they're not looking forward to this going forward because they know this is getting ready to be a thing. So I think most Eagles fans, real fans, know this is the team you have to worry about. If they had to pick one team in the NFL that they're more concerned about, they're probably going to say someone else. But deep down,
Of
they know
course.
it's right in their division. And yeah, I think that's what we all would like to see happen. I think that would be epic for everyone in the league. So let's get Reverend's take on this before I get you guys with the real brain buster of the day. All right.
I got to
What you
get into character for this.
I already know where he's going.
I like that.
That's awesome.
I like it. I like it.
You know, Lake, a great poet once said that when you're in a street fight, you got to punch the bully in his mouth.
Right.
So I know right now that as much as old school would say, Dallas, I want the lunch money of them dirty birds from Philadelphia. So with that, East Coast Anacostia Park Rev says, take that money.
I like
All
it.
right.
I like it. I like it, Rev. Good job. Good job. Good job.
Hands down winner.
When I get to California, I'm definitely gonna come by your church. I'm definitely gonna come by his church because I know it's wild in there.
Hey, we saved the loss, okay?
All right.
Mhm.
Please understand that the loss.
I like that. I like
There
that.
you go.
If you've already arrived, we ain't got nothing for you. But if you come looking, we got you.
All right.
Nice. Good
Amen.
stuff. Good stuff. All right, well, check this out. This one is definitely a brain buster. And it may sound easy, but when you have to think about it now. So here's the question. Over the next 5 years, so basically by the time the new stadium will be done, because it's going to get done, but by the time the new stadium comes up in 2030, you're guaranteed that Washington will already have 2 Super Bowl wins by that time. Okay? You can either accept that or you can go back to the name the Redskins.
Win, baby.
Okay.
Tough one,
All right.
tough
So
one.
everybody got quiet on that one.
I'm ready.
Oh,
All right.
man, that ain't
Okay.
hard for me.
That's really
Me
hard.
All
neither.
right.
I'm good.
That's not hard.
So I think everybody has agreed that are we all going to wins on this one? We're gonna take the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means you're
I
going.
want to go back to the name.
Oh,
Now what?
If they
Go
win,
back to
does
the
it mean
name
that they
and
gotta be the Bears?
win more.
oh, okay. So real quick here. How many people? You can put your hands up in the video. How many people say take the W's, take the Super Bowls?
It's all
right.
1%.
So Oscar, you're the whoa. Ellison, is your hands down?
No, I'm good. I want
Oh, okay, there we go. Okay. So Oscar, you're the odd man out. You're the only one that you say go back to the name. You would take the name over Super Bowls, guaranteed wins?
Like it's when I think about the name Redskins, when I started following the team when I was 10 years old or something. Back then, Hogs were there, Mark Rippon was there, Art Monk was there, so it was like it always reminds me my childhood, which was amazing. But I'm still confused. 2 Super Bowls. I mean,
I mean, that's listen. I mean,
yeah, I've been a diehard fan for so long. I was lucky enough to watch a few games at FedEx Field, and even though we could fly to US to visit my aunt during the summertime, which was obviously off season, and I was only 11, 12 years old, I would beg my mom to take me to RFK just to have a photo in front of the stadium.
Wow.
Years passed by, I was lucky enough to meet Joe Jacoby, which I hate that he's not in the Hall of Fame still, and he was so down to earth and everything. So I really miss the name Redskins. but I missed the Super Bowls too. It's a tough question to answer, honestly.
So this is how hopefully I can make it easier for you to come on board and get those Super Bowls. Because and this is what I tell everyone. Memories, and I get it, and I respect that story. So my godparents used to work at RFK. So I used to be on that field as a kid, literally. I was at Joe Gibbs' first ever win as a Redskins coach, against the Cardinals. But memories can't be taken from you. You're going to always have those memories. But the reason why you went to those stadiums, went to the stadium and went to the games, because you wanted to see your team win. So
True.
I
Yeah.
understand the hurt that everybody has gone through with this name change. However, I've said this before. The first part of this question, and my better half's walking near me over here, and I can tell you, I didn't give you the full question because you remember what you said, right? As far as the name, it was to name the team the Kisses, and you're guaranteed 2 Super Bowls over the next 5 years, or go back to the name change. And I'm like, that might be a bit too much, but I would have taken the Kisses too.
Yeah.
if
Give me
if
my
I
jersey, Lake.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, winning cures everything.
Everything.
You know what I mean? And if you have not 1 but 2 in the next 5 years, now you're the Eagles. And you can say whatever you want to those Eagles fans. Listen, I totally respect the that there are a lot of fans out there still upset about the Redskins and the name, but this is my answer to that. How did that look over the last 30 years? The name. You had the name.
Right.
But guess what you didn't have? You didn't have a good football outfit. So
Off the
I think
issues.
absolutely. So I think
Yeah.
we all would trade in everything, stay Commanders, and you're winning games. Little kids now, Jaden's got like the #1 jersey. Little kids now are only going to know the Commanders to be synonymous with hopefully winning and this star quarterback. So it's tough. I get it, but yeah, I'm saying, give me those 2 Super Bowls, man. I'm surprised Miss Sheila on there. She's the first person in our group that was like, her and Rev were like, get me them Super Bowls back in the day when we gave you that hypothetical, like, would you trade in 2 guaranteed Super Bowls, or 6 playoff appearances, 6 straight playoff appearances, and you don't know the outcome? And I said, I'm taking the 6 straight playoff appearances because I think Jaden can get 2 if he's in 6 straight playoffs. They were like, no, they want the 2 guaranteed Super Bowls. So I mean, yeah, it's to each his own. So guess what? We still have about 10 minutes left. So I got another brain buster for you. All right. I told you I've been racking them up, thinking about it for you guys. So you guys want to do one more?
Yep.
Yeah, let's do one more.
We're
Let's
not
go
going
for
back
it.
to Snyder, right?
Nah, yeah. This,
Okay.
I mean, the players, some of the players you pick might overlap in there, but no. This was another one we thought about, and it was, you have one game, you're in the Super Bowl, and you can go back and Redskins pass, Commanders pass, Washington football team pass, Braves pass. You can go back throughout the whole history, and you have to have a quarterback, a wide receiver, and you have to pick who's going to cover that wide receiver, still off of Washington. I know they wouldn't go up against each other, but we're just basically saying quarterback, receiver, somebody who's going to cover that receiver. All right. I'm going to go first here. I never do that, but just to give you an idea, I'm going Jaden as my quarterback. And I know he wasn't a long time, at the time, Redskin, and we just talked about him briefly. But it's my boy, though. And I just think of how deadly that could have looked. Jaden throwing to Deshaun. I'm just saying. Jaden throwing to Deshaun and Darryl Green covering him.
That's the 2.
That's
Yeah, I like that.
Speed all day.
Like that.
All right, so let's start down at the bottom here. We're gonna go with Dwayne on this one. Just start us off. What you got?
All right, so my QB, obviously, it gotta be 5.
Okay, all right.
Can't be nobody but 5.
Okay.
I mean, I'm under 40, so all I know is pain with this team. so my favorite player growing up was Santana. So I'm gonna take Santana.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's a good one.
And then corner, I gotta take Champ.
Oh,
Nice.
that was mine.
Gotta take Champ.
Nice. I
Fair.
like that.
There you
Mine.
go.
So hey, listen, I know Deshaun's not nostalgic. I was just thinking about, just imagine if Deshaun had Jaden throwing him the football with that speed and just the pinpoint accuracy where he can get him the ball in stride. Who's going to cover him? So I like yours though. That's strong.
Thanks.
And before anyone else goes here, we all love Sean Taylor, but Sean Taylor wasn't a corner, so we're not throwing Sean. We're not flexing Sean today. Okay, so this is strictly quarterback, receiver, corner. All right, so Ellison, you're up.
I'm going Jeff George, Devin Thomas.
Come on, man. He's about to get muted.
I'm going JD for sure. I'm going Gary Clark.
Gary Clark and who? Okay.
And my corner is I'm going Darryl Green. I can't go nobody.
Okay. Good stuff. All right, Commander Cal, you're up.
Hey man, JD5, Art Monk, Darryl Green. JD5, he fits this entire how the league is fitted now. And we're talking about the scenario now. Art Monk, he's 6'4", 6'5", even though Google says he ran a 4.5 40 dash. Like, he going to sun all these little corners. Like, he just reach up and store the ball. And come on, I saw Darryl Green actually 2 weeks ago at Walmart in Virginia. He had a whole bunch of kids with him. Like, he was like the Pied Piper of kids, and like he got like an aura around him, man. So I gotta go with Darryl Green for real.
He could probably still play today.
Yeah, Darryl still tells me he knows that he can run at least a 4.3 40 right now at his age, and I'm not gonna question it. I mean, if he believes it, he probably can do it. All right, so let's go with Oscar here. What do you have, Oscar?
Mine is exactly the same with Kelvin. JD5 throwing to Art Monk, and Darryl Green covering.
Nice, good stuff. All right, so Dave Fernandez, you're up. What you got?
I say JD5, of course. I'm with Art Monk or Gary Clark, one of the two. But
Okay.
I'm gonna go a little bit back just to have fun with it.
Me too.
I'll pick Pat Fisher.
Dad, you too, man. I was gonna say
Pat
that.
Fisher.
The human hangman. The human hangman.
Pat Fisher, man.
That's
I
back
mean,
in the day.
you seeing how he worked with what's his name from the Eagles?
Yeah.
Harold Carmichael.
Yeah.
Harold Carmichael. Yeah.
I mean, what's the name? Pat Fisher was a lot smaller
was
than him, but man,
good.
Pat Fisher put it to him, man.
He was the human hangman.
He just, oh yeah.
Those
so
are back in the
would be
day.
my guys.
Those were Reverend Fry's days. He was liking that kind of football. I already know it. And Sheila.
Mind you, I still love Darryl Green because that's my man right there. But just to have fun, I put Pat Fisher.
Good stuff. All right, Sheila, you're up next.
Yeah, he just took my person because I was going back and I was gonna say Pat Fisher in place of Darryl, because y'all all had said Darryl, but Pat used to be good too. Matter of fact, he just passed away, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Yeah. So I'm always picking Art Monk. So but I also liked Ricky Sanders too. So he was good. He used to catch. So I'm just doing that. I'm just kind of doing a fun thing because y'all already called all the good ones anyway. So
what about your quarterback though?
I mean, come on, let's go without saying. Okay,
you going JD? All right.
You know that.
I was thinking you might have gone. No. I just saw this pop up in there.
Okay.
Come on, man. Almost lost my train of thought seeing that.
Wonders. Okay.
No. I was thinking you may have gone with Doug as your quarterback.
Well, I thought about it, but Doug came in a little late. So
and he got hot at the right time, but that wasn't sustained. So I respect that. All right. So Willis, you're up next. What you got?
All right, let's try to be a little unique here. I mean, I everybody's gone JD5, and of course that is the smart answer, but let's I actually was thinking maybe RG3 in his prime in that one year. I mean, he was magic that 1 year. But I think for
he could have been longevity,
and not going with JD5, I would go with Joe Theismann because I mean he won 85 games with this team.
Well, that's
two
true.
Super Bowls, you know, like
And he was an MVP too, by the way.
MVP, correct.
Yep. Yep.
And so for the sake of this exercise, I'll go with Joe Theismann. And I was gonna say Gary Clark, but that's already been taken. So I'm gonna go with Charlie Taylor.
I thought of
Yeah,
Charlie
there you
Taylor
go.
was
There you
Charlie
go.
Taylor was my second. The only
Yeah.
reason I didn't stay with Charlie was because I just think with Jaden to have a fast, like a really fast receiver would be just
Now
killer.
that's a great. Your pick is great, honestly.
Okay.
And then our newcomer Dwayne stole my Champ Bailey. I was like really thinking no one else would come up with that one. So to be unique, I'll go with not while he played with us, but Deion Sanders. You know, in more of his prime.
Nice, nice. Yeah.
Not during the year where he shorted us $8 million, and I'll never forgive him for that.
Yeah, you can't beat that. So, all right, so we got Reverend Fry, and then I'm gonna give you one for next week. You can't give me the answer now, but for anyone else there also watching, you know, you're more than welcome to come on. But after Reverend Fry gives me his answer, I'm gonna give you the question for next week, and it's similar to what we just did, but you'll have fun with this one. So, Reverend, you're up. What you got?
You know, mine was definitely almost identical to Brother Willis's there. So, but I'm gonna go with, like you said, for the exercise, I'm gonna go with Doug Williams. You know, even though he surged at the moment, he still was
He only won like 5 games with us.
Our historical one. So if I got that surgeon Doug, I'm gonna take it. You know, he could probably take a better hit than JD5 right now, so I don't fear you know, injury at
No,
that
but that JD be taking some.
at that level. And you know, I got to go with Charlie. You know, he's my one. I was gonna say Santana, but I'm gonna go with Charlie on this one, and then I'm gonna reach into the future, and I'm gonna say Trey Amos.
Oh,
Nice. Okay. All right. See, look, like I said, there's no wrong answers on here, and it shows creativity. That's why we have these fun things. You know, people always are telling me, man, you know, I was watching the show and I like the hypothetical. I've never seen anybody do that. Exactly. So that's why we do it right here. So I got one for you. This is the first time we've ever done this. I'm going to give it to you. You don't give me the answer now. You don't email it to me. Hold on to it for next week. But this is also for newcomers who are watching, who want to join us. This is what we do. You know, we'll talk about the team a little bit early, and then after that, we'll have these hypotheticals, and we have a lot of fun with them. So this hypothetical is similar to what, and I saw that. This hypothetical is similar to what we just did, but we're going to switch sides here. So now you can pick any defender to go up against an offensive lineman and a running back. And they can be this obviously from Washington lure, you know. So a running back, an offensive lineman, and a defender to go up against that. So you're probably not going to go Darryl Green to go up against, you know, Joe Jacoby, okay, with John Riggins running behind him. So we're not doing that. All right. So we'll let you guys think of that. You'll have a full week for this exercise to do that. For everybody out there that's watching, you too can exercise that. You can, you know, let me know your thoughts. If you're not part of the group yet, we want you to be part of the group. And, you know, again, you know, there's so many people that pop in that come on, and then some people can't make it at certain times. Once you get the link, you are forever able to log in on Fridays at 5 p.m. East Coast time to come on to the show. It's that simple. You know, we don't turn anyone away. All we ask is that you come on here prepared to have fun and be respectful of each other. And that's what we do. So listen, my friends.
Hey, Lake, I got one question for you.
Sir.
You
Yes,
know,
sir.
I always got a question for you after every show.
Okay.
So I got a hypothetical for you.
Sure.
Say this team around trade deadline time is 3-4 games above 500.
Mm-hmm.
Would they consider trading, because of the depth that they added on defensive line, would they be considering trading someone like Deron Payne to get assets back?
I think they would be considering that because as you said, they do have the depth. You know, Jerzon Newton is a guy that I think is going to be a star. You know, and I'll say this: I think Duran's going to have to play like the contract Duran. You know, he's going to have to play like that. If not, he's not going to be here. He'll be just like John Allen, because this new regime is all about production and not what you've done for me lately. It's what are you going to continue to do for me lately. So that's it. So hopefully that's the answer you're looking for.
Yeah.
So,
Still don't think he back, Blake.
huh?
I still don't think Duran back. I don't think it's not. I don't think it's nothing Duran can do. Cause AP, he a long thinker.
Yeah,
You know
and
what
I
I'm saying?
and I think this isn't a, you know, like I said, I can't say things about certain guys because then I got to go in the locker room and guys like, man, you was dogging me. No, I wasn't. But when you start to look back at some of the decisions that were made and the players that were picked, the bottom line is, and I've said this for years, around the league, when I talk to colleagues to cover other teams, they don't see some of the guys that were being pumped up here, you know, with the previous regime from a marketing standpoint. They didn't see them that way around the league. They didn't see these guys as, oh my God, this guy's a great player. They thought they were good players. And I think that Adam Peters now, who has a real eye for talent, has come in and assessed some things and saw, you know, some of these guys do have potential, but they got to want it. And I think Duran falls in that category now. They like Duran quite a bit. He's a really good football player, but is he a great football player? He played great for 1 year when he got that contract. Well, this is the same type of year. We'll see if he can play great football, because if he doesn't play great football, he will not be here next year. I can say that. So, my friends, this was good as
Hey, Lake.
always. Yes, sir.
Lake, before you go, I got a little hypothetical for you,
Uh-oh.
real quick.
Okay. All right. You got about 2 minutes. Okay. There we go.
You're in the Hall of Fame committee,
Mm-hmm.
and they give you three Redskins that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame right now,
Mm-hmm.
but you can only pick one. Who would you pick? Joe Jacoby, London Fletcher,
Mm-hmm.
or B. Mitch?
So I'm gonna say this in all fairness: the guy that deserves to be in there is Joe Jacoby, without question.
Yeah.
But Brian is my guy. That's my boy. That's a good friend. And Brian deserves to be in there as well.
Exactly.
And so does London. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
if I'm on the committee, I'm voting for all of them. But if it comes down to one, I think Joe was before Brian, and I'm sure Brian would respect me saying this. Joe was before Brian. Brian would probably say Joe needs to get in there. And then next up for me, I'm taking Brian. And then I would take London third. London's my guy too, but I just think when you're the second all-time yardage guy in the league, you need to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, my goodness gracious. And then when you anchored one of the greatest offensive lines ever and have Super Bowls to your name, by the way, and you went up against Hall of Famers every week. I mean, you were going up against Lawrence Taylor and Reggie White and you know, Richard Dent, you know, Charles Haley. When you were going up against these guys and you were more than holding your own, yeah, you deserve to be in there. The problem with the reason why a lot of Washington's
With
former
a
players,
club in your hand.
yeah, but the
Yeah,
reason why a
remember
lot
that?
of former Washington
With a
players,
club in the hand.
oh yeah, they aren't in the Hall of Fame, and I know this for a fact. It's because their team wasn't flashy. They were just
Right.
workmanlike. They didn't have
Star.
characters. They may have had, you know, the Hogs, so to speak, as a group, but I mean individually, they just didn't have characters. They didn't have guys that beat on their chest and said, me, 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 me. They didn't do that. And maybe if they did, well, we all know they wouldn't have won those Super Bowls because that wasn't their makeup. That's just not who they were. But I think when you look at some of the best teams, the 92 team is one of 91 team is one of the greatest teams of all time. And I would put them up against anybody on a Sunday.
Yep.
For them to not have representation the way they should, that's a crime. And with me now being part of the league, I'm gonna see what I can do.
Good.
When you do throw in a vote for Bostic too, I think he deserves it as well.
Absolutely. I think that whole offensive line should get good looks. I mean, no question about it. So, look, my friends, I got to wrap up because we got to get ready to head down for something else. So,
Got a beach
as
to get to.
always, yes, no. We got an event now. So, yeah, but no, as
It was
always,
awesome.
had a lot of fun. We'll be doing this again next week. So, everybody have a great weekend. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
You as
thanks,
well,
Lake.
man.
Appreciate
Enjoy
you,
your
Lake.
day.
All right. Take care
Y'all
now.
be
All right,
blessed.
All
take
right.
care.
Appreciate you
Bye-bye.
coming on. Thanks.